Hi, kindergarten team. Okay, well, I just want to give you a explanation of your Google Doc. I'm just shrinking it down a little bit so it fits into the screen, sorry. All right, there we go. That should be better. All right, so here is your Google Doc. What I have done to simplify and give you just a quick snapshot of current and only fall data is I've created this tab and a few more, okay, and we'll go through them really quickly here. But let's start with this one, the January All Master. So this is currently in January. It is all the students, and they are simply in ABC order by last name grouped by class. So it's from this tab that I sort data and create subsequent tabs with specific data, students sorted by specific data. Okay, so this is kind of the one to, if you want to make your own tabs, sorting your own students in specific ways, use this to copy paste from. Please don't jack this around any. This one we want to stay exactly as it is. Okay. But, oh, by the way, your tabs over here, KCW and KG, this is where data gets inputted first and foremost. So as you can see, we still have all of your data from fall and winter, and then the spring column is here. But what's nice about the January master and all the subsequent tabs that I made for January is I took out all the spring column. So it just makes the spreadsheet easier to read and gives you only the data you want to see and no extra blank columns. So here we go. The first tab that I have is the January sorted by core phonics screener, parts A through D only. So let's look at that. I didn't pull in E or oh, I guess I did, you guys. Well, it's here. Part E is here. But I'll explain how I sorted the data and how you could quickly assess your students. Okay. Before I go on, though, I do want to tell you that your kids, and I think it's in the master. It is in the master, and it's in all the subsequent tabs. You'll see some students have a particular color code with their name, and shoot, I should have added another column explaining it, but I guess I'll just do it. I'll explain it to you now. Okay, so red, students in red are your lowest, most of greatest concern students. So we've got Priscilla and Case were the two, and I know Case, it looks like, isn't here anymore. So Priscilla being the one who is of greatest concern. The next color up is a yellow/orange color. These are the students who Sandy works with at 9 o'clock, the students that are not necessarily in reading mastery but had to go back to working more specifically on letter names and sounds. Okay. Then the next group of students are in green, and they are the kids who are in reading mastery with Sandy right now. Okay. So keeping that in mind as you begin to see some of the data sorts, some things pop out and may be of concern and greater awareness, although most likely you will be not surprised by what I'm noticing and pointing out. So here we go. The core phonics screener sort is according to this column, and this is a column I created, column N, and this is simply a total score for each student in sections A, B, C, and D only. Didn't bring in the score for E because the kids who have a score in E are your high kids who got 4 words or 5 or 9 words. So looking at this column, I'll show you what I did. I wanted to see kids who got at least 75 points total. That's 26 for uppercase, 26 for lowercase, 21 for consonant sounds, and 10 for the long and short vowel sounds. So 75 was considered proficient. If they were between 71 and 75 points, that was a strategic, and less than 71 points was going to be considered urgent. This isn't any kind of scientific core deal. This was just something that I did my best to set those benchmarks. So got a lot of kids you'll see in red. So let's see, up to 68. And reason being, say, with this student, for instance, Chloe, you know, she's got her 26 letter names in upper and lower, but she's still showing urgent interconsonant sounds, 15 of 21, and only one long vowel. So these are just areas for you to note, and I'm not sure how you're continuing to assess as we work throughout the rest of the year, but here's one snapshot, right? Got a few kids in a strategic area. Again, it's going to be those consonant sounds, right? And the long vowels. And then from there, it plays out with your benchmark kids. So there's your core phonics data. The next one is January. All students sorted by phonemic segmentation. This, these cutoffs or these benchmarks are from DIBELS. So we wanted to see them get at least 32 sounds in a minute. 28 to 32 or over 32. 28 to 32 was considered strategic, and less than 28 would be urgent. Just rolling down. Oh, I don't know why these kids are in white. I will fix that. We must have missed a marker on that. I'll get that fixed. Okay, so rolling down, you know, yeah, it's a pretty high number of kids who are low in this phonemic segmentation. I wonder if this is an area for you to discuss, perhaps set goals or make instructional routines around this. How and we'll talk about this on Friday with regards to the specific, or rather the explicit phonics routines that Brittany and I were able to see at the Carrie Cole training that happened in early December. She's got some absolutely fantastic routines that I remember seeing one of them in your room one time. I think Amber was teaching. She was doing a word chunk, or not a chunk. She said, I think she was saying the sounds and the kids were speaking the word back. So I think she might have said something like, you know, s, at, and then the kids spoke back sat. Of course, it was a different word than that. And so that's that ability for kids to hear those sounds, and rather those phonemes in a word that is sounded out to them, is a great way to practice this and strengthen this, as well as blending words together. So we'll talk about it on Friday, but I really think this is an area to find time in your day daily for all students to have opportunities to practice this and strengthen this skill. It's certainly going to help them be better spellers, and of course will certainly impact their reading. All right, that's phonemic segmentation. The last one that I sorted by was the nonsense words. And I know this is perhaps a new concept for your kids, and even beginning to decode words is new for them. Just to show you the benchmark cutoffs from DIBELS on this, we wanted them to have at least 18 letter sounds in greater than 18 letter sounds in a minute. Strategic was between 15 and 18, and below 15 was urgent. So, you know, a lot of these more urgent kids, I guess I won't say a lot, that's overgeneralizing, but in some of the lower kids that I was testing, a lot of them were hung up on the fact with the fact they didn't know their letter names yet. So to ask them to read a nonsense word was tricky. Some of them, as I recall from scoring them, they were getting random letter sounds simply by knowing that the first letter in a given word was a C, and they would say ka. So they were getting some spotty letter sounds simply by recognizing letters that they saw. But in terms of decoding those words, that was pretty tricky for them. So, and I see some white spots here. I'll get those fixed up real quick. I did not sort your data by correct words recoded or words recoded in this column, simply because that is quite a skill that's going to be pretty challenging for kids at this point in kindergarten. And in fact, DIBELS doesn't even, as I recall, recommend benchmarking kids and giving cut scores in this area at winter. I think in the spring we might see that, but I can't remember for sure. All right, I blabbed on long enough. Sorry. Hope it's helpful, and I'll get these So when you watch this, actually, this recording will stay this way, but in your actual spreadsheet, you should hopefully not see some white spots, and I'll fix that up. Okay, thanks, guys.